It's Ricky Rich with Black Primacy with a quick question. Have you downloaded the Black Primacy app yet? If you haven't, don't worry about it. I just wanted to remind you that it is the number one way to find black owned businesses near you. Whether you're looking for food, fashion, or services, we've got you covered on this app. So download it now and start supporting black owned businesses in your area today. All right? Link in the description.
Title, but also I'm going to talk a little bit about things that are happening right now in the global economy. And then what we want to do is fit our people into the global economic conversation. We have a tremendously important part of that whole global economy. Black people matter. Black Americans matter more than almost every other group of people in America, white or black. I've mentioned to you all before that if you listed all the countries on the earth based on gross domestic product, Black Americans would be in the top 11. We'd be at top 11 or top 12, right up there, I think slightly above Russia. I think that our annual income exceeds Vladimir Putin's whole entire country. We definitely blow out countries like Saudi Arabia, where they wear the turbans and they have all the oil money and everything else. That oil money ain't nothing compared to black money. And this is kind of interesting, right? Because it's a contrast to what we're constantly told. Like we're constantly told that, being black means you're poor, being black means you ain't got nothing. And the only reason you think you don't have anything is because you're comparing yourself to the richest people on the planet. So never, ever, ever let anybody delude you into thinking that black wealth is not powerful, that we don't have something that is extraordinary. We just have to harness that power, right? We have to harness what we have. And if we harness what we have and we use what we have effectively, then that will grow into something pretty amazing, something that we can actually pass on to the next generation. We've got every single thing that we need. The only thing that we need that we don't quite have is each other. We need each other. If you have each other and you know how to keep your wealth in your families, in your community, in your circle, then what will happen is that your circle gets richer because you're investing in your circle. Your family gets richer because you're investing in your family. You get richer because you're investing in yourself. And the three major ways that we don't invest in ourselves, the three major ways that black wealth gets drained out of our ecosystem, write it down. Write it down. There's three major ways that we're trained to give our wealth away. The first is that you are trained to spend, 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 spend. You're trained to be consumers, not producers. That's the first way, right? So nobody will go shopping like a black person. I'm sure you know somebody. I'm sure you know at least one person. How many of you? Give me a yes or no. How many of y'all know somebody who will go broke buying Christmas for the babies, but don't own a single share of stock, don't own a single share of real estate, and ain't got more than like half a week savings in their savings account to in terms of survival money. How many of y'all know somebody like that? Literally, but we'll go broke. We'll max out the credit card buying Christmas for the babies. Run to Target, Walmart, like get to Black Friday shopping at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not mad at that. I'm not telling you to stop doing that. If you like Black Friday, then I mean, keep enjoying it. Black Friday is fun. I have nothing against that. But that is unfortunately a problem if you don't have balance. Like if you're not also investing in yourself as much as you're investing in those companies that you're shopping with, then you're going to end up having an economic imbalance and you're going to be malnourished. You're going to have financial malnutrition. Financial malnutrition is just like regular malnutrition, where your body doesn't have all of the minerals and nutrients that it actually needs. So you might have an oversupply of zinc, but not enough magnesium. So basically, it doesn't make zinc bad. It just means maybe you need to focus less on zinc and a little more on magnesium and have both of them in your body. Same thing is true here. Look, I'm not here to tell you to stop consuming. That's a mistake a lot of people make. They want to tell you that you can't spend money on this, can't spend money on that, and this bad. Stop doing this, stop doing that. I'm not here to tell you to stop doing anything. I'm just telling you to have balance. Thank you, James Lawrence. That's a great word, and that's a great name. My brother's name is Lawrence. It's balance. That's all this is balance, right? But that's the number. That's one reason why black wealth disappears. That's why black income does not turn into black wealth. Income creates the opportunity for wealth. Income is the opportunity to have wealth. So when you blow your income on consumer items, you are blowing your opportunity to have wealth. And the word poor stands for what? It's right in the chat. A lot of y'all know. Poor stands for passing over opportunities repeatedly. Passing over opportunities repeatedly. So when you pass over the opportunity to turn income into wealth, then you're increasing the likelihood that you're going to stay poor. So that's the number one reason why black wealth does not grow. What's the number two reason? Number two reason black wealth gets sucked out of the community is there's not enough conversation about ownership when it comes to where you live. Everybody's going to have a place to live at some point, and you're going to have two choices pretty much. You're going to either rent or own. Right? And you can either pay rent, which is gives you short-term gratification, gives you a place to stay, or you're going to sacrifice temporarily so that maybe for a year or two to be able to get enough of a down payment to become a homeowner. If you make that decision to become a homeowner, what does that mean? That means number one, you prioritize that, like that's important for you. Number two, it means maybe you took the time to learn what it takes. You talked to the banker, you went to the real estate agent who said, look, you can't get a house with this credit score, but here's how you can get your credit score up. Here's how you can get ready to position yourself as a homeowner, right? Just like you positioned yourself to be a college graduate, they would tell you how many classes you got to take to get that degree, right? How many of y'all remember that? They would tell you, okay, you got to take this and this and this, and then you can graduate. And then we have the graduations where people are doing backflips and praise dancing and cartwheels and all this other stuff, right? And I don't even know if it's praise dancing. Some of the praise dancing looks like how are you twerking and praise dancing at the same time? I'm serious. I don't know. I'm like, am I looking at church or is this the strip club? I can't figure out which one it is. But you see people acting a fool at the graduation, right? And I'm okay with acting a fool. I act a fool sometimes. So you ain't never gonna see me twerking, But hey, if twerking is if that's your thing, then twerk away. But if you're gonna be praise twerking, like that should be a term, right? Praise twerking or porking. Anyway, so if you're gonna be praise twerking, at least be praise twerking because you graduated to become a homeowner, right? Just like you graduated high school and that's got you jumping up and down in the aisle. You graduate from college. We're doing cartwheels. The cues are barking and people are doing backflips and all this other stuff. Well, don't do your backflip just because you got that piece of paper that gives you the right to go work for a white man. Right? That's not that. I mean, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying if you're gonna backflip because you have a piece of paper that might give you a job working for a white man, then I think a great time to praise twerk and backflip would be when you graduate to become a homeowner. Then you've gone beyond the man. You've gone from level one to level two. Do you understand? Like you've gone from the first level where you're qualified to be somebody's employee and experience on the job racism, microaggression, being underpaid, overworked, stressed out, all these other things. We talked about these things, but you've gone to that other level to say, now I've graduated and I'm actually positioned to make a down payment on a house and become a homeowner. Because you got the first part covered, right? Most of us who rent, we pay our rent on time. If you don't pay your rent on time, you're going to get evicted. So you're already, and many of you are already paying enough rent to pay a mortgage, right? The amount of rent you pay is higher than a lot of mortgages, right? So that part you got covered. The only other part you got to figure out is what's the process? How much money do I need? How do I save up that money? And it's a matter of choices. It really is a matter of choices. Let me tell you an example. I have a buddy, Andre C. Hatchett, and another buddy named S. Tia Brown. S. Tia Brown used to be one of the editors at Essence Magazine. Andre is just a great guy who lives in Atlanta, who I work with all the time. I love this guy. Andre and Tia told me separate stories that I really respect about how they became homeowners. You know what they did? And actually, there's another person I'll throw in there, Madam President Chanel Walker. That's another one that's that I'm close to. And so each of these individuals basically decided that being a homeowner was a top priority. So in each case, they told me an individual story about how they made some type of sacrifice that allowed them to eventually own a home. For Andre was making $18 an hour and he was trying to buy a house in a very difficult place. He was in the Bronx or Brooklyn. It was Brooklyn. Brooklyn or the Bronx. I don't remember which one. I think it was Brooklyn. Homes are expensive in Brooklyn. They're really expensive. And he was making $18 an hour and he just sacrificed. He said, I'm going to sacrifice 2 years so that I can be a homeowner for the rest of my life. So he sacrificed, saved his money, scrapped his nickels, cut costs where he could. And he pulled together the money to buy his first home. And then at that point, he was on the wealth train. He was on the economics superhighway. He had a financial vehicle that was getting him down the road. Why? Well, because inflation, one of the biggest areas that inflation hits is home values. Home prices go up when inflation hits. So he went from being a victim of inflation to being a beneficiary of inflation. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let me know if you get what I'm saying. He went from being on the side where the rent is too damn high to being on the side of, wow, this is great. Rent prices keep going up. I'm making more money and my home value is going up. He was renting his places out. Now, again, I'm not sitting here saying that that landlords are wonderful people all the time. Hopefully, if you're a landlord, you're going to be an ethical landlord, but I'd rather have you be the landowner than the person who is renting from the landowner. So that's the second area where black wealth gets thrown out the window. Overspending, being all consumer, not a producer, and being all renter and not an owner. Where's the third area that black wealth gets drained? And this is probably the biggest. It's to the trillionth power, and that is the fact that millions of you are training your children to go work for white people. That's what you're doing. You're not training them to build businesses. You're training them to work for businesses. You're not training them to own assets. You're training them to become an asset. And so when I see the graduations and I see people praise twerking in the aisle, jumping up and down, hair weaves flying everywhere. Some of the dudes doing backflips. I saw one guy try to do a backflip on stage and he busted his teeth out. When I see all these graduation celebrations, I'm the person who sits here and thinks to myself, okay, what exactly are we celebrating now? Now I'm not making fun of you because your backflip didn't work out. I'm not saying that you don't have that there aren't things worth twerking for. I'm saying, what are you really twerking about? And how do we keep this from looking like a buck dancing plantation scenario where we are simply celebrating the fact that we now have a validation that massa will accept that allows me to become his employee? That's I don't know if that's necessarily a flex. I don't. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I don't know if it's a flex because I've told you that this economic system is not built to benefit workers. And this ain't even just black people. Black people just get the worst of it, but American workers are getting screwed in this country. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you are a worker, you got to have you got to have an outlet. You got to have another stream of income. You at least got to have two incomes coming in that house. You better get along with that man and get along with that woman, right? You got to have something going on that allows you to either be a producer, an owner, or a boss of something. You have to own something because making it on a paycheck just really doesn't work in America, especially for people under the age of 40. People under the age of 40, let's say Gen Z, maybe 35, they're really kind of stuck in this really crazy economy. This economy that just your politicians are a bunch of bastards. That's what they are. They're messing everything up. They could easily increase the minimum wage, but they won't do it. They could easily support labor unions, but they really don't. They could easily tax wealthy people a little bit more so that there'd be a little more money floating around, but we don't. We'd rather have some guy in Elon Musk who has more money than most nation states, right? And for whatever reason, we feel it's bad to take $20 billion away from a guy that has 400 billion in his pocket. I don't understand that. So this is the world you live in. This is just, someone wrote a harsh reality. That's the way I look at it. I look at it as a harsh reality. And I think that if I offend you, I apologize, but I probably offend people because I'm not getting into the whole whining and crying about it. I just want to solve the problem. That's what I do. And so the solution is when you're training the kids, you got to train them to be on both sides of the fence. The seesaw has to be balanced. You can't be all consumer and not a producer. You got to be a consumer and a producer. You can't be all renter and never the owner. You got to be the renter and the owner. You can't be all employee and never the boss of anything. You should be a business owner on some level. It doesn't mean you have to be an entrepreneur. Let's be clear. Do you understand? I have to make this clear because people run around and they like to spread fake news. They like to say, Dr. Boyce says everybody should quit their job and start a business. Do you understand with me when I say you don't have to be an entrepreneur to be a business owner? Can you give me a yes in the chat? Because I need to feel better this morning. Give me a yes in the chat if you understand when I tell you that you don't have to be an entrepreneur to be a business owner. Some of y'all, maybe aren't interested in running a business. Some of y'all aren't, honestly, some people are just not, just ain't got what it takes. It takes a lot of thinking and stuff. Not to say you're not thinkers. I'm not saying you're not a thinker. I'm saying, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say it without insulting nobody, but you know what I mean. Some people ain't really built to go do what entrepreneurs do. But there's a lot of ways to own a piece of a business. Like if you start buying shares of stock, then you're a business owner. Um, there the 20-year-old I talked to the other day. I was like, you should be a business owner, own lots of businesses. Let's own some McDonald's. So I showed her how to get on the app and buy some shares of McDonald's. Now she is an owner in McDonald's. This is one of the best things about America is publicly traded markets. You can go and become a business owner in 35 seconds. And one of the things I'm just gonna drill into the ground because I'm damn committed on this is I want everybody in here to be an investor and to be a consistent investor. You do those two things, generational wealth problems go away. You do those two things, you become a consistent investor in safe assets that you don't sell out, you hold on to your assets. That's what rich people do. That'll increase the wealth of the people that come in this room. There will be billions of dollars in wealth just in the space of the individuals that are here. That literally, that's I know the math. This is how easy it is, right? So really, when you talk about black wealth, the secret of black wealth is that there really is no secret. There is no secret to building black wealth. There's no secret to closing the racial wealth gap. There's no secret to ending poverty for individuals and families that want to end it. It's not a secret. The secret is that there is no secret. But everybody wants you to think it's a secret. Everybody wants you to think it's hard, that it's impossible. The only reason it's hard is because there are people that don't want to make the sacrifice. That's what it is. It's hard because habits are hard to break. It's hard because you're trained so much to just do things that are so economically self-destructive. Like it was no secret for me to lose weight. I just had to stop eating Twizzlers and take my fat ass to the gym. It wasn't, I didn't need a complex diet. I didn't need some, health, I didn't need nutritionists and health scientists around me. I didn't need to go to the Mayo Clinic and have them do a body scan to tell me how fat I was. I didn't need to sort of be analyzed like the Bionic Man. I just needed to take my fat ass to the gym. You know what I did? It was real easy. In fact, I called it my anti-Roland Martin protocol where I said if I just do these two things, I won't look like Roland Martin. So I would go and I would run 3 miles every 2 days, and I would make sure I finished the 3 miles, even if I wasn't running. Sometimes I would walk most of the way. So I would do the 3 miles, and I would say, "Okay, boys, if you do these 3 miles, you won't wake up and look like Roland Martin." And then the other thing is I started lifting weights. See y'all. See y'all breaking the petty out of me. I'm see here I am revealing myself. Just so y'all know, Roland Martin has hated me since 2011. I was in London and we had a back and forth on text, and he was texting me, and I felt like I was arguing with my wife because he sends these text messages that are like 20 paragraphs long, and I'm like, how your chubby little thumbs text all that? And like this is back when you really had to text. You couldn't talk in text. No, you had to really. I was like, man, how do you do that? So he would write a 1,000-page dissertation. And I would just say, okay, like I get it, and I think he got mad at me for that. So yeah, so if you see Roland, tell him I'm sorry. But then again, sorry, not sorry, because I just made jokes about how chubby. He need to go to the gym. But anyway, my point is to say that, and I'm gonna stop being petty. I promise. That's the petty voice. So the point is to say that losing weight was not hard. It wasn't a mystery. It was slightly modifying my diet and going to the gym every couple of days. And then when I did that consistently, I learned a basic lesson in life. And this is important to never forget. You are what you do. You become what you do regularly. Whatever you do regularly is what you will become. If you invest regularly, you will become wealthy. If you spend regularly, you will become broke. If you work out regularly, you will become physically fit and in shape. You will look amazing. If you eat cookies and candy bars regularly without working out, then you're going to become overweight, diabetic, or whatever, right? So the question to ask yourself every day is what do I do regularly? And those actions that define me, what are those day-to-day actions? Everybody, it's not what you are doesn't matter to me as much as what you are becoming. Just like the stock market is actually valued in the same way. Companies are not valued based on what they are. They're not valued based on how much money they have. They're not valued based on how much money they've made. The bigger part of a company's valuation is how much money they're expected to make in the future, where they're going in the future. A company can release their earnings report and they could say, hey, you expected us to make this much money, but we made more than expected. And the market's like, hooray. And the stock price will go up because the stock market votes based on money. It tells you if they like or didn't like the information that you released. But then let's say that you come back and the CEO says, yeah, even though we made this money, we don't think we're going to make this kind of money going forward. Then the market goes, oh, boo. And then the stock price will drop right back down. And so this is one. So life is kind of the same way. You are a share of stock in your own life. You are not only your own greatest asset. You should be your own greatest investor. And we know that things that get invested into, things that get poured into, are things that will grow. So because you are your own greatest asset, because you are your own greatest investor, then ultimately, when you value yourself as a stock, don't just look at where you've been. Don't just look at where you are. I need you to look at your actions and tell me where the hell you're going, because that will tell me everything I need to know about what you're going to become. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Give me a yes if you get what I'm saying. All right. Okay. So before we head out, I want to mention later on today at noon, we're doing our Stock Market Investors Club. So if you want to dig in, and I'll talk about some stocks I'm looking at. And I had some thoughts today about investing in gold. I think investments in gold can be a good thing because there's evidence that the dollar is kind of there are questions about the dollar as the world's reserve currency. Gold and crypto are kind of hedges against that. So I invest heavily in crypto, and also I'm going to start buying some more gold. And I'll talk about that. I'll even make a list of different ways to buy gold and commodities, and pass it out to you guys. But also, if you want to join us for Stock Market Investors class, you can go to drboycestockmarket.com. That's drboycestockmarket.com, and the first month is free. Number two, you guys know that we have a sister platform, Fly Nubian Money. Fly Nubian Money, Tierra KJ Williams is the producer there. And every single day, these really super smart, super dope black women get together and they have these amazing conversations about the topics that relate to wealth and health and wealth and relationships and everything else. And they spin it back to money. And they're actually looking for smart women that want to be on the platform. So somebody type this email address in the chat. If you know a smart woman that is looking for a platform, a smart woman that wants to be heard, email info@therealnetwork.net. And I'll spell that info at the real REEL, the real network.net. So that's REEL and it's .net, not .com. So it's not REAL, it's REEL, therealnetwork.net. Info@therealnetwork.net. And just send your resume over and send maybe a clip of yourself speaking and doing what you do, and let the team know. And I think that Tierra would be interested in seeing what talented sisters we have out there. I think black women should be listened to every single day of the week. And that's it, guys. That's all I have for you today. And I hope that this was beneficial to you. And so we will meet again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. If you're not a member of this class, make sure you get on the text list. Text the word morning to the number 87948. So text morning to 87948, and I will send you an invitation tomorrow. So take care, everybody. God bless you, and I'll see you all later on today. Take care.
All right. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please check out the other content that we have on this channel. But before you go, I wanted to remind you again not to forget to check out the Black Primacy app. It is the best way to connect with Black-owned businesses near you. They need your support. We need your support. Link in the description.